finally, after not being able to reach an agreement, he says he wants out, he wants a trade. Now, thankfully, based on my connections in the NFL, I actually called Brandon Aiyuk's agent earlier today. We talked for 15 minutes. A lot of things I can't share, a lot of things I can share. I will share what I can share. But, James, you go first.
Okay, you want me to go first, and you got all the info.
You go first, big dog. Now, Niners fans, you already know what time it is. Bang, bang. I will tell you all what you have not heard on any other airwaves thus far today, but I will do that momentarily. James, kick it off. Should Brandon Aiyuk want out of San Fran?
Absolutely. And he should want out because this is his first big payday. This is my time. I don't know what may happen after this. I can get hurt. Anything possibly can happen. This is my time to go get my money and make sure my family is set up for the rest of their lives. This is my chance. So if you can't give me the $30+ million that I want, I have to go get my money elsewhere because I don't know if I'm going to come up and be able to get another contract. So for Brandon Aiyuk's sake, it is time for him to go. I'm glad he did this, right? Do it before training camp. Y'all know, okay, contract negotiations, we headbutting. Hey, man, I'm requesting a trade because I need to get the money that I have earned and I deserve. And if it's not here because of all the playmakers y'all got and all the people that y'all have paid, then it's not here. But I have to go set my family up. My agent always told me, and it's always stuck with me. He said, James, I hope you do win a Super Bowl. I hope you do have all pros and all this type stuff. I hope you do get a gold jacket. But he said, you lose if you have a gold jacket and you broke.
Oh.
That's what he told me.
Hold on, say that one more time, G.
You lose if you walk out of this game with a gold jacket and you are broke. You win if you walk out of this game with a lot of money because you have this amount of time in your career to make sure you make all that.
Well said, sir. Well said.
So for Brandon Aiyuk, this is his time to go get his biggest payday as in his young career. Gotta go.
Let me sprinkle in some of the conversation that I had with Aiyuk's agent.
You know what I'm saying?
Throughout. I'm going to sprinkle it in, Dave Helman. Let me start with why we are where we are. The reason we are here is because the Niners grossly underestimated how the wide receiver market would explode. What we know as of now is that the Niners put out an offer to Brandon Aiyuk, roughly $26 million, and they have not budged since. Now, in the Niners' mind, they thought that was a competent offer, but why? Y'all have to remember, go back 4 months ago, $26 million was the highest paid for the majority of wide receivers. Cooper Kupp at $26.7 million. So if the Niners offer Aiyuk $26 million, that is fair. The problem is the market exploded, and it exploded rapidly. Devonte Smith, the Eagles' '2 wide receiver, making $28 million. Jalen Waddle, the Dolphins' #2 wide receiver, making $28 million. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Detroit Lions' #1 wide receiver, but shares an All-Pro like Aiyuk shares an All-Pro, making $30 million. So what was $26 million a good price is no longer a good price because the market has exploded. As you all know colloquially, yesterday's price is not today's price. So the Niners could have got out ahead of it, simply paid Brandon Aiyuk probably $27 million 3-4 months ago, and that would have been fine. But the problem is they grossly underestimated the explosion of the wide receiver market. And as a result, $26 million pales in comparison to the $30 million that Aiyuk deserves based upon his play comparatively to those that play the same position at the same level around him, a la Amon-Ra St. Brown. That is why we got here. I will tell you all a little bit more later. Hang with me. Dave Helman. Going to you now at this junction in time.
That was good.
You know, give a little info, sprinkle a little teaser, make sure they don't go nowhere. Dave, should Brandon Aiyuk want out of San Fran?
I don't think he does. Is that answering the question? I don't think Brandon Aiyuk actually does want out of San Francisco. I think
trade me, don't tell you that?
No, it doesn't. Not in San Francisco, where his fellow Pro Bowl receiver, Deebo Samuel, has already done this. This is a play straight out of the playbook. You have limited options for leverage when you're an NFL player who's under contract, and this is one of them. You know, we can talk about guys love to take their team off their Instagram if they're big into that, but the big one is to say, well, if you don't want to pay me what I'm worth, then I'll get it somewhere else. And I do think that's fair, and if the Niners are bound and determined not to do it, I'm so with you, James, he should go, and he should want to go. But I don't think that's what this is. I think this is Brandon Aiyuk playing, unfortunately for him, one of the few cards that he does have. I mean, like I said, we've seen this from Deebo. I mean, it feels like ancient history now, but Deebo had to do this with the Niners. Sometimes we talked about it yesterday. You got to kick up some dust. Lamar Jackson did this. Franchise quarterback. If y'all don't want to pay me the deal I think I'm worth, then get me out of here. And what always happens when the deal gets signed, when it comes down, It's all handshakes and high fives, and he'll be at the press conference. So I don't think this means Brandon Aiyuk wants out. I think he's tired of being nice and letting this play out behind the scenes. He's bringing this onto the talk shows and onto the internet. I don't think he actually wants out. I think this is one of the few plays that he has. But if this doesn't move the Niners, then yeah, he should be willing to go wherever he can get his money.
Sir, I do have the answer.
Because everybody that I've been around that said, I want to trade, I'm like, bro, you really want out of it? Yep, because they ain't willing to pay me my money. My question to you, talking to Aiyuk's agent, and I don't know if you can share this, do the Niners have the money to give him $30 to $31 million?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because then that'll open the eyes to where this is my number, and y'all might want to keep me, but you can't even get to this number because of what we pay.
To have fun. I don't know if y'all have ever been in this situation. I know I have. James, have you ever been in a situation where somebody owes you money?
Yes.
Think at home if you've ever been in a situation where somebody owes you money. Nothing may vex you more than somebody owing you money. They don't pay you, but you see them out there spending. Ooh. I've had cats owe me money and they taking vacations, but they can't afford to pay me.
Please. Let me go call some people right
Yes, sir. Like, how do you owe me money and you telling me, hey, Acho, I ain't got it for you, but I just saw you in Cabo. And you was on a yacht.
Come on now.
Okay, now why am I bringing that up? After the Niners communicated, hey, Aiyuk, we don't got the money for you.
Who they pay?
Who they repay?
They re-signed Christian McCaffrey.
To more money.
Yeah.
He was already the highest paid back in the league.
Yep.
So you made the highest paid back in the league, a higher highest paid back in the league, even though you telling me you ain't got it for me. So the kicker, what you have to realize, and what I've realized in this money, and you've probably in this industry, and you probably realized at home, when somebody tell you they ain't got money, that's not what they mean.
No.
What they mean is they don't have money for you.
That's good.
Aiyuk.
That's good right there.
They don't have money for you. The Niners got the money. The question is, do they got the money for Aiyuk? So to me, I would be upset if I'm Aiyuk, not because like they ain't got the money. They got the money. It's just, do they got the money for you? So where I'm at with it, if I'm Aiyuk, I would want out. Reason I would want out is because in the last 3 years, I've done everything right. The Niners asked Aiyuk, yo, move to the Bay Area. He done moved to the Bay Area. Hey, come to off-season workouts. He went to off-season workouts. Hey, be a prolific wide receiver. He was an incredibly prolific wide receiver. Hey, block downfield. Good runs turn into great runs when wide receivers block downfield. Ask any receiver, ask any offensive lineman. That is what they say. Good runs turn into great runs when wide receivers block downfield. The reason the Niners have the best running back in football is because of McCaffrey, but not just because of McCaffrey. It's because you have dedicated wide receivers like Brandon Aiyuk, first-round picks, who block downfield. Not only should Aiyuk be perturbed because he hasn't been paid, but how can y'all tell me y'all not going to renegotiate with me, but then McCaffrey, who's already the highest paid back in football, y'all are going to make him a higher highest paid back in football. Not only that, when you had to have it, versus the Green Bay Packers, mounting a historical comeback. And you got to have it. Deebo Samuel's on the sideline. I believe he had a hamstring, if I'm not mistaken. Got to have it. Who converted? Aiyuk on a slant. You got to win. Tight coverage. He caught it. You had to have it versus the Detroit Lions. You have to come back from down 17. Who had enough concentration on the football in that junction in time to not only get you down there, but help you all convert and end up taking that lead and ultimately winning the game and going to the Super Bowl? If you're Brandon Aiyuk, you have done everything right. And now it's time for the Niners to do right by you. That's why, Dave, I do think he wants out if the money ain't right. And money ain't right.
And he should. And I would love to see how the Niners manage to pull this off. I'll step out on a limb and say I don't think they can. Because on top of everything you just said, we talked about this yesterday too. What else is coming down the line? Brock Purdy and his probably $60 million price tag. Look, this is why the Niners have been such a dominant team. Do you realize, at least, I'm not talking about in terms of skill, but in terms of name power, accolades, Brandon Aiyuk's probably the fourth option in their offense. He's an all-pro.
So this begs
Think about that. I mean, it's a good problem for the Niners to have until right now.
This is the better question. This is
That's still really good.
Hold on, because this begs the better question. Who needs who more? Dave just made a good point. He's not the number one option in the Niners offense. Pre-show, we were meeting about all these things, as y'all know. Before I meet with y'all, I meet with the producers. And somebody asked, I forget who it was, like, hey, Acho, you think the Niners think they need Aiyuk? I said, it don't matter what I think.
Yeah.
The Niners don't think they need Aiyuk. Because in the biggest game of the season, he got 6 targets.
Yeah.
In the Super Bowl, he got 6 targets. Deebo Samuel got 10 targets. Yeah. So it's not about what Emmanuel Acho thinks, James Jones thinks, Dave Helman thinks. It's not about what you at home think. Do the Niners believe they need Brandon Aiyuk? Just look at the targets. I think it's a Bible verse. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. There your targets are, there your heart will be also. He got 6 targets. So it's not what I think about Brandon Aiyuk. They showed us that they don't think they need him that much. I do believe the Niners need Brandon Aiyuk. They're a better football team with Brandon Aiyuk than they are without Aiyuk. But if you only got 6 targets in the Super Bowl, you clearly don't feel like you need the man that much, James Jones.
And that's why they lost. Because he didn't have the targets that he should have had. The Niners need Aiyuk more. And you just touched on it. The biggest plays in the Packers-Niners game is when he caught the slant and he caught a shallow cross that Brock Purdy threw at his shoelaces. And he went down there on 3rd down and 7 and scooped that ball off the turf. If he don't make that play, that game is over. Then you make the biggest play in the game in the Detroit Lions where the ball should be picked. You concentration, ball down to the 1-yard line. Every time Purdy needs to make a play and he can't hand it off, he is looking at Brandon Aiyuk down the field. That is who he trusts, the best route runner on the football team winning. He gives him the opportunities, and the numbers say that. They need Brandon Aiyuk out there if they want to win a Super Bowl. I do not think the Niners win or get back to a Super Bowl if Brandon Aiyuk is not on that field this season. Because Deebo Samuels at one point will be banged up again. That's just what history says. 4 seasons, he got 1 healthy season out of 4 seasons. He will be banged up. Who do you go to? A rookie? Because if it's just Kittle and Chris CMC, that's easy to defend. So who do you go to? You need Brandon Aiyuk. He's always available. He's a big-time player. He's an all-pro. You need Brandon Aiyuk, and you need him for your young quarterback. We're talking this $60 million with Brock Purdy. You take Brandon Aiyuk away, now he has to do more. Now he may have to hold on to the ball a little bit more as he tries to get some trust in the young rookie Purcell. He has to do that. So they need Brandon Aiyuk. If they didn't have Brandon Aiyuk last year, they do not go to the Super Bowl, and they do not get back if they don't have him this year.
I think you can read the tea leaves, look at this, and see the Niners are sending signals that they don't think they need Aiyuk. I mean, in addition to not targeting him, A, they haven't paid him. Clearly, they had some money to spend. And B, you just mentioned Ricky Pearsall. You draft a tough, contested catch, route-running receiver early in the draft typically signals what? That you're thinking it for the future of a guy needing to move on. All of that says the Niners might not need him or might not think they need him. I'm with you. I could not disagree more. I think the Niners need Brandon Aiyuk badly. And I struggle to come up with a way that Brandon Aiyuk needs them. Like, why does Brandon Aiyuk need San Francisco? I know having all of that talent makes your job easier. Brandon Aiyuk has been good every year that he has been a pro. He has gotten better every year. And what's he done it with? I mean, I know Brock Purdy has turned into a remarkable young quarterback, but you're still talking about a guy that's played with Jimmy G, Trey Lance, and then Brock Purdy, who was Mr. Irrelevant. Like, you think Brandon Aiyuk is worried about going to a situation with a different quarterback? I wouldn't be. And that team will be willing to pay you a $30+ million salary. I don't see why Brandon Aiyuk needs the Niners at all. I'm completely with James. If they're going to finally win a Super Bowl, it needs to be with him on the team.
Let me play devil's advocate. Not that the devil ever, in fact, needs an advocate. But, fellas, let's think about this for a second. Kyle Shanahan going to keep a good receiver on him. And if he's not, he's going to make a great receiver out of a good receiver. Think about Pierre Garcon. Y'all remember that name?
Yep, Colts.
Pierre Garcon. Colts? Niners. Or Washington?
And Washington as well?
Because when he was with Shanahan in Washington, Garcon got busy. One of Julio Jones' 2 first-team All-Pro seasons. Obviously, Julio Jones was that dude. One of his 2 first-team All-Pro seasons was Shanahan. Aiyuk was the 6th wide receiver taken in a draft that consisted of Justin Jefferson. Dave, help me out, but CeeDee Lamb,
Jerry Jeudy, Henry
Ruggs. Thank you, sir. He was the 6th wide receiver taken. So if you are Kyle Shanahan, as you have done with quarterbacks, you also have done with receivers. Matt Schaub has a Pro Bowl. Robert Griffin has a Rookie of the Year. Matt Ryan has an MVP. Brock Purdy is the 3rd best quarterback in football behind Dak Prescott last year and Lamar Jackson. So if you're Shanahan, of course you need Aiyuk.
Yeah.
But don't get it twisted if you're Shanahan. You're like, Oh, I do this. I make wideouts now. I make wideouts, James Jones.
How soon, though? How soon you going to make this wideout?
That.
Because I played wideout, right? And I know it takes, some of these wideouts jump off the scene, rookie year, 1,300 yards and all that, because that's what you're replacing. You're replacing 1,300 yards, right? And double digits, that's what you're replacing. So can the rookie give you that? Can the rookie give you 1,000? We do not know. The rookie and the quarterback have to build chemistry. I don't care what you call Kyle Shanahan, they have to build chemistry. He has to know how Ricky is coming out of this route. He knows how Brandon Aiyuk is coming out of this route on third down. He knows he can put the ball anywhere he needs to put the ball for Brandon Aiyuk to go make the play. You have to build all that stuff. On top of trying to get Debo the ball, trying to get Kittle the ball, all that. So with that being said, man, I'm telling you, this offense and Kyle Shanahan will take a step backwards.
Let me flip it on its head. Let me flip it on its head. When you left Green Bay, you went to the Raiders.
Yeah.
Obviously, you had the most targets you've ever had, maybe the most catches you've ever had. Let me flip it on its head. Let's all be Brandon Aiyuk for a moment.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm just now realizing this. Andre Johnson, good receiver, right?
Hall of Fame receiver.
Hall of Fame receiver, right? He had 2 first-team All-Pro seasons, right?
Okay.
You want to know who his offensive coordinator was for the 2 years? Shanahan.
But
now, Andre Johnson played 14 years.
Though.
No doubt.
Okay.
But think about it. Andre Johnson, who played 14 years, his best years, them 2 best years were with Shanahan.
I can understand
Are
that.
you
Julio
trying
Jones,
to get us to say Kyle Shanahan's not a good coach?
What I'm getting y'all to say is, can Pearsall, right? Because what we know is Andre's a Hall of Famer. So that means he is
Julio.
great.
So is Julio.
So is Julio. So in all of their greatness, their greatest greatness was with one man, Shanahan. So my thought process is, if you're Aiyuk, do you want to leave the individual who is proven to have Hall of Famers' best years? Like, Andre Johnson is great, and his best years of all them years
But all I'm saying
was
is
with
you
Shanahan.
have to have that great talent, too, is what I'm saying. Like, when Kyle Shanahan walked in the building and he said, Dre here? I can do this and do that and call this and call that with Andre. Like, he can do that?
Yes.
Julio?
But no, I'm saying this. If you're Aiyuk, do you want to leave that? Because we're saying, Aiyuk, go get your bread, go get your paper, all these things.
Yeah.
But if you're Aiyuk, you know Kyle Shanahan gets the most out of his wideouts. So am I a 1,300-yard receiver everywhere else? That's the question you have to humbly ask
If I'm
yourself.
Aiyuk, I'm out of there because I'm not thinking about Kyle Shanahan's play calling. I'm turning the tape on, and when we do watch Brandon Aiyuk play, we turn the tape on, and he's going that way, and the DB going that way, because he's got that type of releases. At the top of the route, the DB going that way, he's going that way. He's that type of route runner. Can you find that in the other players? I have proven to you that I don't care if it's Jimmy G, Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, I'm going to win and I'm going to ball.
But you've been watching Netflix's wide receiver. You've been watching it. I've been watching it. I just finished it. Devonte Adams, a highlighted player on that show, Dave. I'm sure you watch it. You're obsessed with football maybe more than anybody at this desk. Devonte Adams go this way. Defenders go that way. The ball don't come this way, though. So, Aiyuk, you could go this way, and defender could go that way, but is the ball going to follow you or follow the defender? Because Devonte Adams stays open. But because the Raiders haven't stayed with consistent quarterback play, it doesn't materialize. Aiyuk knows that if you have Shanahan, the quarterback play will always be at a high level.
But since Devonte Adams been at the Raiders, he's had an All-Pro.
Yes, sir.
And he's had the most touchdowns in the National Football League with Aiden O'Connell.
Yes, sir.
With Jimmy G.
Yes, sir.
With whoever. So what I'm saying is as a receiver, your mindset is, I don't give a damn who the coach is. I'm going to win, and I'm going to get open because that's all I have shown. So I'm going to get my money. I'm telling you, Niner fans, he gone. He gone.
Not to mention, I just want to point out as well, like Devonte Adams looks like one of the most frustrated guys in the NFL watching that show. You think he regrets the contract that the Raiders gave him? Like, do you think
he doesn't?
I think he would take that over and over again because the offer wasn't where he needed it to be in Green Bay. And yeah, it's been frustrating for him. But again, to James's point, you get a couple of years to maximize your earning potential.
And Colvin Heller helped me with Devonte Adams' quote during receiver, but remember what he said. I got to get the F up out of here. I'm going to die if I stay here. I got to get you're the one who said it. I got to get the F up out of here. I'm going to die out here.
But his bank account fat, though.
Yeah,
no doubt.
He's going to, he can afford whatever hospital bills he needs.
This is Brandon Aiyuk's first time to get a big contract.
Yes, sir, it is.
I can't worry about who calling the plays and all that. The only number that I care about is the $30 to $31 million that somebody else is going to give me because y'all got to trade me because obviously y'all don't want to give me that bread.
Is fair.
I got to go. Devonte got money too, y'all. I've been to his house, man. He got spinning doles and all that type of stuff. You know? He got his own training facility in there. He gonna be all right.
Man, well, look, maybe the most offensive term you could call a pro athlete is overrated.
Disrespectful.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.